This is our third addition of integers video, and in this one we are talking about using the addition rules to answer addition of integer questions. So let's get down to our notes for the rules. Here we go. So there's actually two rules, and the first one all of us know, but unless we're really thinking about it, we never really think about it. So the first one is, for example, if I have 13 plus 7. Okay, when I add that together, 13 plus 7, I know that's 20. So that's a demonstration of this point here, but we don't really think about it. Okay, 13 plus 7 is 20. Okay, so a positive, adding a positive, our answer is going to be a positive. So two positives make a positive. Another example here you'll see, let's say I had negative 13 plus negative 7. That also is going to be a negative 20. So again, a negative plus a negative equals a negative. Now, we're going to count how we normally count as far as the 13 plus the 7, and that gives us 20. Worrying about the signs, how to have the correct sign is where the mistakes can be made. Okay, a positive and a positive. The positive sign is going to be with our answer. Negative and a negative, our answer is going to be a negative. So that's rule number one. There's only two rules because there's only one other thing that can happen. Right now in these first rule, we have all the integers in each question have the same sign. So the only other thing that can occur is the integers have different signs. And that's where rule number 2 comes in. So rule 2 says, when integers have different signs, subtract. I know we're doing addition, but we're going to subtract for part of this to get the answer. So it says subtract the smaller numeral from the larger numeral. Then we're going to use the sign of the greater or larger integer for our answer or for the sum. So you see two examples here. So we have a negative 6 plus a positive 4. So our signs are different. So it tells us to subtract those. So that would be 6 subtract 4 equals 2. So then how do I know what sign my answer has on it? I look at the larger integer in the question, which is 6, and then, larger numeral in the question, which is 6, and it's a negative, so my answer becomes negative 2. In the second one here, negative 10 plus 45. Okay, different signs. 45 subtract 10 equals 35. How do I know the sign for my answer? I look at the two numerals in the question. I have a 10 and a 45. 45 is obviously larger than 10, and 45 is positive, so my answer is positive. Let's do a couple more. So, for the first one here, let's say it is 7 plus 21. All right, which rule am I going to use on this one? I have a positive 7 and a positive 21. I'm going to use rule 1. My integers have the same. So these are both positive. My answer is going to be positive. All I have to do is add 7 onto 21. That adds up to 28. Okay, let's try another one. Negative 3 plus 13. Okay, in this question, I have a negative and a positive. Therefore, I'm going to use rule 2, different signs. So I'm going to subtract. So 13 subtract 3 equals 10. Now I need to know my sign. I look at my numerals. I have a 3 and a 13. The 13 is bigger. It's a positive, so my answer is positive 10. Let's try another one here. Let's say that we have negative 13 plus 9. Okay, once again, I have two different signs, positive and negative. So I'm going to subtract those. 13 subtract 9 equals 4. So my answer is going to be 4. Is it going to be positive or negative? I look at my two integers. The 13 or the 9. The 13 is larger. It's a negative, so my answer is negative. So those are the two rules for adding integers. Okay, so you can look back at this video and see the two rules. We'll put them together right there. Okay, these are important for you to memorize and remember. We'll do lots of practice. Again, if you want to watch my samples there again, back the video up. I just had a thought. Let's show you one like this. let's say there was 4 plus -3 plus 16. All right, now in this one there's 3. So far we've only done pairs. But again, this one's a positive, this one's a negative, this one's a positive, so I have 2 different signs. Therefore, I have to use rule 2. Okay, so you can do this in 2 ways. We can group things that are the same, or we can just move along. So we have 4 positive plus 3 positive. Those signs are different, so I'm going to go 4 subtract 3 equals 1. My integer that's larger for my sign, positive 4, is larger than -3, so it stays as a 1. Now I can add that to the 16. So now this time we have a positive and a positive, so I'm going to use rule number 1. Just add them together and keep the same sign. So 16 plus 1 is 17 positive. So there is my answer. Now when I was talking about grouping is another way you can do this. So let's say that I have -3 plus 7 plus -6. So on this one, because we're adding, we can kind of jump out of order here if we want. So we can group these together. So I have a -3 and a -6. Okay, so if I was to add those two together, group the like things together, okay, it's going to help with this. So -3 and -6, we know signs are the same, so you just add them together and keep the sign. So that's going to be -9, okay, and then a plus 7. So now I've simplified this equation. So now I'm going to use rule 2 because I have a negative and a positive. So I need to subtract those. That gives me the difference there is 2. So my answer to this whole thing is going to be 2. But what's my sign going to be? So I have a -9, okay, is larger than the 7. The 9 is larger than 7, I should say. So we're going to keep the sign of that. So it's going to be -2. Okay, that is integer addition using the rules.